Hey gang! So, I'm late as hell to this one, huh? Like, sure, I could be making a video on Indigo Park or something right now, but you know me. I love to talk about stuff that was relevant months ago, or years ago in the case of like 80% of my videos, but you know, who's counting? You're probably wondering why this video exists, and especially why I'm talking about this shit now of all times. Well, I'll tell ya. For a while now, I've been slowly brewing up the ideas for a video on lankybox. You can probably tell I do not care about my mental well-being.
New amazing digital circus Pop Me Happy Meal.
I don't think we should order that, dude. It's 3 a.m.
No, come on, let's try it. Yeah, I'll have one of those, please. Cool.
And you know what? This video, the video you're watching right now, was supposed to be that lankybox video. I was pretty confident that's what I was going to be working on next. But fuck me, I guess, because we're not doing that. We have a content farm emergency to talk about, because somehow the craze that is Zoonomaly completely went under my radar. This is like my whole job. I really should have picked up on this sooner, huh? I think I just need to make like an alt YouTube channel where I subscribe to every single brain rot content farm I've talked about over the years here, so I can stalk the content farm trends more efficiently. Definitely not doing something like that on my main account though. My recommendations are still recovering from the digital circus video from November. Anyway, besides that, if you're wondering why I brought up the whole lankybox thing, it's because checking out their channel for that video is the straw that broke the camel's back for me to finally check out Zoonomaly. Seeing that they not only made videos on Zoonomaly, but also regularly made videos on Zoonomaly, made me realize I had to look into it. And let me just say, I was not let down.
Boner alert!
But I'm getting a bit ahead of myself here. In order for us to go through all this shit, we first need to start at ground zero. The question I had to ask myself when I started this video. What the hell even is Zoonomaly? So I did some digging, which wasn't very hard actually, played the game for myself, and now I have the answers. So today, we're gonna do a couple things. Strap in everybody, as we take a look at the creator of Zoonomaly, the game itself, and of course, the content farm garbage. I even have a surprise for later in the video. Let's just say I purchased something, and we'll be taking a look at it. And hey, for once, one of these content farm trends isn't filled to the brim with overly sexual content. So that's a plus. Boo! Where's the granny video? It's cancelled! Just kidding, I'll do it eventually. Listen, here's the deal. Get me to 650,000 subs, and a long as fuck granny video is yours. I pinky swear. Anyway, without any further delay, let's get into this. But first, this video is sponsored by Raycon. Alright, so I wear earbuds a lot. I have never been a headphones person really. They're always just a little too clunky for my liking. Because of that, I have always been a ride or die for earbuds pretty much my entire life. And that's not even just for the ad or anything. I am seriously an earbuds defender. Whether it be getting in some exercise, working on a video, or just listening to my queen Carly Rae Jepsen, my audio listening experience of choice is always earbuds. So when Raycon reached out to sponsor me, I knew it was a match made in heaven. Like, wow, something I genuinely care about. Chat, this is huge. Raycon sent over a few of their products, including their iconic Raycon Everyday Wireless Earbuds, featuring a new active noise cancelling upgrade. Here's the tea on those, friends. The Raycon Everyday Earbuds have the same audio quality as the other leading brands at only half the cost, and they really aren't exaggerating either. I compared them to what I normally use, and they honestly sound almost the same. It's super impressive. And even if they don't live up to your standards for some reason, Raycon offers a 30-day happiness guarantee, so you genuinely have nothing to lose. With a quick charge function giving you 90 minutes of battery in only 10 minutes, a weather and sweat resistant design, and multiple different ear tips to choose from, Raycon is an obvious smash hit. They stay in there pretty well also. I can definitely see myself using these during any kind of physical activity. Click the link in the description below, or go to buyraycon.com/yeah to get 15% off your Raycon purchase, plus free shipping. Thank you to Raycon for sponsoring this video. Zoonomaly is a Mascot horror game released by first-time developer Lights Are Off earlier this year. But there's actually a bit more to this than what it may seem on the surface. Yes, Lights Are Off's first ever video game is Zoonomaly. However, they've been creating stuff for quite a while before Zoonomaly was ever even thought up. In fact, they're actually an insanely popular TikToker, believe it or not. Known for creating weird and kind of creepy short animations, Lights Are Off managed to gain over 20 million followers on the platform, which is hella impressive on many levels. They have multiple videos with over 100 million views over there, and a whole bunch more in the double-digit millions as well. While this type of content isn't really my cup of tea, I can 100% understand why it was so popular when he was actively making it. I say actively because Lights Are Off's TikTok is actually pretty dead these days, with almost nothing being uploaded. In fact, their final video over there on TikTok is the Zoonomaly trailer. What's weird is that they actually barely did any marketing for this project. No animations or anything hyping it up. Literally just the trailers. What's even weirder is that the trailer for Zoonomaly actually underperformed in relation to the rest of their page over on TikTok. Sitting at only 2.7 million views, it's a little weird seeing this video next to two videos with 150 million views and 250 million views respectively. And hey, don't get me wrong, 2.7 million views is nothing to scoff at. But just imagine how much more attention Zoonomaly would have gotten leading up to its release if Lights Are Off dropped a couple animations based on the game. The even weirder thing about all this is that over on YouTube, where it is significantly harder to get views on normal videos compared to TikToks, the trailer for Zoonomaly has over 19 million views at the time I'm writing this. Very fucking strange how things work out sometimes. While Lights Are Off didn't really try super hard to promote Zoonomaly, there may have been a reason for that. This is just speculation, but walk with me, fellow granny video truthers, and I'll explain. Alright, so as you could probably guess by the title of the game, Zoonomaly takes place in a zoo with animals that are also anomalies. However, the actual animals that are in this zoo are kind of all over the place. Like there are some monkeys or chimps or something, they make sense, but then there's like cows, frogs, an elephant thing that doesn't even have a fucking trunk, so it doesn't even remotely look like an elephant. You get the idea though. The animals featured in Zoonomaly aren't really typical zoo animals for the most part. It's kind of just a bunch of random shit. Because of that, one of the animals prominently featured in Zoonomaly in multiple different sections is literally just a cat. Well, a cat with a long ass neck for cat standards, but yeah, it's just a cat. This creature is not an original design for Zoonomaly, however. It actually originates from multiple different completely unrelated animations that Lights Are Off made prior to Zoonomaly even being in production. The cat is called Smile Cat, and it actually acted as almost a pseudo mascot for their work. It even got an official plush, which looks significantly better than something we'll be taking a look at later in the video. Anyway, Smile Cat was kind of just shilled into this game, so I guess the popularity of the character would somewhat translate into the popularity of the game. I think this kind of worked, although the main mascot Zookeeper design definitely ended up becoming the most popular thing to come out of this game.
Boner alert.
So yeah, maybe the existing, already popular Smile Cat videos being tied to Zoonomaly retroactively made Lights Are Off feel like they didn't need to make new promo stuff. Not that it matters at the end of the day though. The game did end up doing very well with YouTube audiences. But I feel like just in terms of actual game sales, Lights Are Off probably could have increased them if they used their platforms to actually promote the game a little more. You're kind of just leaving money on the table at that point, and you know, who doesn't love a fucking fat sack of cash? Anyway, enough talking about Lights Are Off's previous works, we have a whack-ass zoo to discuss. Or as this one YouTube comment I found put it, the most normal zoo in Ohio. Sure, man. Listen, I'd love to talk about and break down the genius of this YouTube comment for you all, but unfortunately, we have to talk about the actual game now. This is Zoonomaly. Zoonomaly is a very open mascot horror game, which is kind of an interesting take on the genre that I can't really think of any other game similar to it doing before. You can do the sections of the game in any order you please. Because of this, I'm going to be breaking down this section of the video into just talking about the specific aspects of the game, like the gameplay, the visuals, etc. There really isn't a story to go over or a structured series of events to talk about, so I feel like this is the best way to go about it. With that out of the way, let's get into it. Starting with the visuals. I think by a pretty wide margin, this is the best aspect of Zoonomaly. With Lights Are Off's past animation work already looking pretty good, it isn't that surprising that Zoonomaly is a visually impressive game to a degree. It isn't like crazy or anything, but I think it gets the job done. The actual zoo environment itself is probably just a modified model pack that they purchased or something, but it looks good enough to not be distracting or anything, and there are genuinely a couple really nice looking areas in the game. The main one that sticks out to me is this aquarium building that you have to explore for part of the game. I think that whole area looks really fucking cool. The environments are definitely at their best in Zoonomaly when you're anywhere other than the outside areas of the zoo. Which, like I said, it's not bad or anything, but it's a lot of samey looking environments over and over again. However, Regardless of the quality of the environments, they don't really matter for this game. Nobody on planet Earth is watching or playing Zoonomaly to see the fucking trees or whatever. The main reason anybody cares about this game at all is the monster designs. These are the main attraction for very obvious reasons, and for the most part, I think they look pretty cool. They all take a page from Smilecat's book and have this black and white color palette, which I think gives Zoonomaly a pretty strong identity compared to if the animals were just colored like normal. It makes it easy to recognize the design from this game outside of the context of the game, which I think is a really good thing. I don't think these monster designs are going to be everyone's cup of tea. They are a little over the top, but I think they give Zoonomaly a lot of character and really makes the whole experience kind of feel like you're playing a lights are off animation. The most shocking thing about Zoonomaly, however, is how fucking awful the animations are. The walking and running animations for the animals are fine for the most part, but the jump scare animations are genuinely terrible. For some reason, the camera isn't forced to look at the monster's face when the jump scare animations play, which leads to a lot of jump scares where you just get to look at the side of an animal's face or some other random shit. That aspect is already pretty annoying and makes the whole experience feel way cheaper than it should, but just ignoring that, the actual animations for the jump scares when they work properly are really underwhelming. I'm just confused because the guy who made this game is literally an animator. This aspect of the project should have been a slam dunk. Maybe translating the animations to a real-time game project was a struggle or something, but it's definitely a little disappointing. Besides that though, I think Zoonomaly looks pretty good. Compared to a lot of other games in this genre, I think it has a pretty strong visual identity, and I think the animal designs look really good on YouTube thumbnails in particular, just because of how simple but also complex they are at the same time. I would not be shocked if that aspect helped the game get as popular as it did. Unfortunately, as much as I don't want to be saying this section is kind of where my praise for Zoonomaly ends. I want to preface these next couple sections by saying this. I think Zoonomaly is an insanely impressive game with the context that it was made entirely by Lights Are Off, and that it was their first game project ever. However, this is still a product I paid money for, and I would be lying to you all if I just ignored the insane amount of issues in Zoonomaly. So yeah, nothing against Lights Are Off. Keep making shit and improving because I think you have insane talent, but we do have to get into this shit. So let's start off with the gameplay. I think the gameplay structure of Zoonomaly is not inherently bad. In fact, I think there are absolutely cool aspects of it that still work in Zoonomaly regardless of everything else weighing them down. The best example of this is actually the main gimmick of the entire game. The light bulb gun. The light bulb gun is a really smart thing that the dev gave the player because it's something that 90% of the game is built around. It's not perfect, but I still think the idea is super clever, so let's get into it. The light bulb gun is super simple to use. You hold down the mouse to charge it up and release the light blast, and you press a key to reload it after using a light bulb. You can carry a few light bulbs at once, and you can replenish your ammo just by finding light bulbs on the ground or knocking them out of lampposts. It's a really cool way to have the ammo just naturally be woven into the environment of the zoo. The actual blast of the gun is used for two different things. The most obvious of these things is using it on animals in the zoo. Regardless if the animal in question is hostile or not, you can use the light bulb gun blast to stun them for a little bit. There are some issues with this whole system, but we'll get into it when we talk about the actual moment-to-moment gameplay. The other thing the light bulb gun is used for is interacting with these wooden planks during the core puzzle sections of the game. Speaking of, we might as well talk about those now. There are 20 different puzzles scattered around the zoo that you need to complete in order to fight the final boss and beat the game. A large majority of these puzzles all follow the same basic format, and it's definitely the most iconic gameplay seen in Zoonomaly. If you asked a random person that knew Zoonomaly how Zoonomaly plays, they'd probably just describe how this one puzzle type plays. It really is most of the runtime. Let's call these puzzles the wooden structure puzzles. The wooden structure puzzles are pretty simple in theory. You're presented with a large wooden structure that's inside of an animal exhibit, and it's your job to reach a collectible that's located somewhere inside the structure. Said collectibles are pieces of a really large key, which you need to slowly put together throughout the course of the game. It's really easy to tell where a key piece is exactly on a structure, since you can use your scanner thing to see a large light beam coming from the location of the key piece. But the real challenge is figuring out how to get to it. This is where the light bulb gun comes back into play. You have to use your light bulb gun charge shot to shoot down large planks of wood connected to the structures. Once the planks have been knocked down, you can use the scanner to look for large X's on the plank. These are spots that you can stand on to be Angry Birds launched to other parts of the structure. So pretty much, most of the puzzles here are a really long, boring series of trial and error attempts, seeing what every plank does and if it leads you to the right spot. There are a few of these puzzles that try to switch it up a little bit, such as having rotating platforms and invisible platforms you can only see with the scanner, but overall, This gameplay loop is honestly more annoying than enjoyable. I've never been good with puzzle games all that much to begin with, which definitely didn't help my enjoyment with Zoonomaly. But when one of the solutions to a puzzle is to jump on a fucking rail that you just assume would make you slide off to the ground, you begin to question these puzzles are even designed well at all. The only thing that got me through this game is the insanely broken save system. Zoonomaly, for some reason, does not have any sort of autosave. I completely missed this fact at first and lost about 20% of my game progress because of it. If I go main menu, is it gonna kill my save file? Oh my god, I have none of the key cards. Holy shit, this game sucks.
Wow.
Seriously though, what modern games don't have autosave? And even if they don't, like Security Breach or whatever, at least save stations are made super obvious. In Zoonomaly, if you want to save, you just have to go to a menu for some reason. This very weird design choice ended up being the ultimate double-edged sword, however, because since you can save whenever you want in the game, I just started saving in the middle of puzzles when I had to make a big decision. If the decision was a bad one, I could just reset the game and be right back where I was. This definitely made the whole experience significantly more enjoyable than it would have been if I had to redo entire puzzles every time I made a mistake. That outcome feels like it was absolutely the intention as well. I highly doubt this game was being playtested with save scumming in mind. This is further proved by an update that Zoonomaly got, which added an entirely new mechanic. It gave you the ability to drop a light bulb anywhere on the map, and if you pressed a button, it would teleport you back to the placement of the light bulb. If this function didn't use up the light bulb, this would be an easy replacement for the save scumming. But since it does use a light bulb when you teleport to it, there is genuinely no reason to use this feature over saving, quitting, and re-entering the game. I used this mechanic once during the entire game, and it wasn't even for a core puzzle. It just feels very situational when there is clearly a better option already in the game. Anyway, you're probably wondering where the zoo in Zoonomaly comes into play here. So far in this gameplay section, I've pretty much just been talking about the game as if it were literally just a puzzle game. And to be fair, it kind of is. However, there are some enemies we can talk about. Unfortunately though, none of them are very good. Like, at all. The easiest to talk about are the non-hostile zoo animals. These guys just exist for the sake of the game having more shit to look at. They barely move and running into them does nothing. Like I mentioned earlier, you can still hit these guys with a light bulb gun for some reason, but it does nothing but make the animals play a small flinching animation. These guys are fine. The real issues start to crop up once we talk about the hostile enemies. Starting with the hostile animals, we have these chimps and good old Smile Cat from earlier. Both of these guys work pretty much the exact same way, and it is extremely fucking annoying. If either of these animals get sight of you while you're in their exhibits, they will run as fast as possible towards you and jump scare you. Thankfully, they cannot really climb up wooden structures, so once you're deep into puzzles, the enemies aren't even an issue. But when you're on the ground, they are a major pain in the ass. Let's break these fuckers down, because the decisions made regarding both of these hostile enemies are genuinely insane. First off, you may be thinking this is finally where the stun blast from the light bulb gun would come into play. And you'd be right. Kind of? Okay, so yes, blasting these hostile animals with the light bulb gun does actually stun them for a little bit, and give you some time to get away. However, major emphasis on the little in little bit, because blasting these fuckers, unironically, only stuns them for maybe 2 seconds. Now, even if the light bulb gun had 0 charge time to use it, that amount of stun time would be abysmal. But there is charge time to the gun. I swear, it takes like 3 times longer to charge the stupid blast compared to how long the effects actually last. Then on top of that, you have to reload the gun after every use, which takes time. So if you shoot something, they stop for 2 seconds, then immediately start chasing you again, you probably can't even protect yourself properly because you'll be in the middle of reloading the gun when they start going after you again. Mix that reload with another 6-second charge up, and the gun is essentially fucking useless on hostile animals. You are genuinely better off just running away from them and gaining some height on the wooden structures as soon as possible. You are forced to use the light bulb gun on enemies sometimes though, specifically after you die and then respawn at the start of a puzzle. Alright. So every puzzle in the game has a designated respawn point for if you die, and these are labeled as safe zones. In these safe zones, you're supposed to be safe from the jump scares of hostile animals and other enemies. These sometimes just don't work, but we'll talk about that once we get to the actual Zookeeper. For now, I just want to talk about what the hostile animals will do when you respawn. For some fucking reason, their AI is not programmed to just ignore you when you reach the safe zone after death. and instead, they bolt over towards the safe zone immediately and will just wait there, creating a situation where if you do not blast them with your gun, you will die over and over again. How this even made it into the game is crazy to me. This feels like something that should have been addressed as soon as the enemy AI started doing that during development. In a less common but still insanely annoying case, one time a chimp got stuck next to a ramp that I had to go up to do the puzzle. But if I tried to walk up the ramp, I would just get jump scared every single time. This meant I had to waste a light bulb blast every single time I needed to use that ramp so I could stun the chimp and actually make progress in the game. Death did not move the chimp back to its spawn either. That fucker was there the entire puzzle, no matter how many times I died. So yeah, the enemy AI in this game is borderline broken, if not just straight up broken at times. Nothing better shows this off than the main man himself, the Zookeeper. If you've been wondering what the actual gameplay of Zoonomaly is outside of the exhibits and puzzles, look no further than this buckshot roulette, rush from doors looking motherfucker. When you're making your way from puzzle to puzzle, you have to look out for the Zookeeper, who can pretty much spawn anywhere on the map. You can kind of avoid him if you keep your distance, but for the most part, you're pretty fucked if he sees you and starts chasing you. Like the other enemies, you can use your light bulb gun to stun him for a little bit, but it's also not very effective and will often just lead him to jump scaring you anyway. The best way to get around the zoo is to keep your distance and hit as many safe zone checkpoints as possible. The concept of having a permanent threat you have to always look out for when traveling between puzzles is really cool, and if his AI was closer to something like, as funny as this is gonna sound, Granny from Granny, I think the concept would have worked a lot better. It just feels like such an underwhelming aspect of the game when all the Zookeeper really does is act the exact same as the chimps and smile cats. However, we are not done talking about the Zookeeper yet, because this character is insanely broken. For starters, I seriously can't tell if this is on purpose or not, but the Zookeeper can clone himself. When you're doing a puzzle, the Zookeeper will watch you do it because the AI is stupid and still tries to kill you even when they can't reach you. Because of this, sometimes when you're doing a puzzle and die, upon respawning, a second Zookeeper will spawn in and also watch you do the puzzle. This just keeps stacking until like 5 Zookeepers are on screen at once. Dude!
Oh, are there 4?
Yes, there's 4.
What?
I am just very confused.
The Zookeeper probably kill.
Wait, because you're not even wrong. Eventually the clones just kind of despawn, but if you have to leave with all the clones out, have fun with that. The other broken aspect of the Zookeeper also has to do with the respawning. Because of the Zookeeper's shit AI, if you're respawned into a safe zone, the Zookeeper will stand in front of the safe zone exit waiting for you to leave, similar to what the chimps and smile cats do that I talked about earlier. Of course, this means you have to blast them to get out. However, because of how close the Zookeeper can get to the safe zone, sometimes they can hit you with their hitbox and jump scare you. This can result in one of 3 outcomes. Either A, you respawn back like normal and keep playing the game, B, you get stuck in a jump scare loop for a little bit where the Zookeeper just keeps jump scaring you over and over again until you eventually just get out of it, or C, you get stuck in a jump scare loop forever and are trapped in a soft lock forcing you to restart the game. This entire issue would be resolved if the enemies were just given a bigger invisible wall or something. Or, you know, just better AI. But that's hard and this is the dev's first game, so just make the safe areas bigger than they actually look in the environment. God. Anyway, that's pretty much all I have to say about the enemy AI. Time to quickly talk about the rest of the gameplay focused stuff, which consists of the puzzles that aren't under the wooden structures category, and the final boss. I won't spend too long talking about this stuff, because honestly there isn't much to say. The variety puzzles, as we'll call them, are really forgettable for the most part, and mostly just consist of grabbing an item and then using said item to get a key piece. Like, there's this part where you go into a building and there's some weird tall thing, no clue what animal it's supposed to be, and all you have to do is grab a key, open a locked gate, grab a key piece, and leave. Like, okay. These sections are a nice break from the core gameplay, I guess, but I kind of wish they weren't even in the game. I think a big issue with Zoonomaly is the lack of structure. As unique of a concept as it is, the lack of structure in the puzzles doesn't really allow for any skill curve, and you'll never really feel like you're learning the core mechanics of the game in a supernatural way. If the game was structured in a linear fashion, I feel like the entire thing could have been those wooden structure puzzles, but with a lot more thought put into each one and their placement in the game. I'm sure the open-ended approach could work, but this game is a little too all over the place for it to really click with me. One more of these variety puzzles I want to talk about is the big water section in the aquarium building. As cool as it looks, It's actually a really lame section of gameplay, where you just press buttons and slowly move around until you reach the key piece. There is barely any dead ends, and it was super obvious where you were supposed to go the entire time, so this section ends up just being extremely boring. The only real threat is falling into the water, which is an instant death, but like, I don't know why you would do that more than once. I don't know, I just thought this whole section was super lame, given how great it looks, especially the parts where you run under the aquarium. Anyway, I guess we can talk about the final boss now and finally move on from all this. The final boss is this big-ass cat thing in a room full of these lights that were featured in a previous section of the game that is essentially the same thing as this boss, but way easier. So at least the mechanics on display here aren't a new thing. The second the cat sees you, they fucking book it towards you for the entire fight. You have to interact with every single one of the lights until you find all the green ones. Once all the green lights have been turned on, you can go to this machine thing and end the game. This boss isn't really that hard, it's kind of just poorly thrown together and really annoying. Since the recharge time for the light bulb gun takes so long, it's really just a mad dash around this room praying that you can blast the cat and stun them for a bit every time they get close enough, which happens a lot. I really don't know what I was expecting from a final boss in Zoonomaly, but this whole thing feels super underwhelming. There really aren't any extra theatrics to it, it's literally just a harder version of another random part of the game. And folks, that's it for the gameplay of Zoonomaly. I have such mixed feelings about this game, because a lot of the pieces of a good, quality product are here. They're just bogged down by a million other things that just shouldn't be in the game. I wish I liked Zoonomaly more, because solo indie devs are some of the most persistent and talented folks out there. But I do have a good feeling that if Zoonomaly were to ever get a sequel or something, it would be much better than this game. I really hope Lights Are Off does that, because they're clearly an insanely talented person, and I want to see them make a game that takes all the mistakes of Zoonomaly and fixes them. Regardless of what happens though, I really can't bring myself to hate this game. I don't like it, let's get that straight. But there's a clear effort on display here that I can't ignore. Maybe charging money for a first attempt was kind of a bad idea, but that's a discussion for another day. I say that like I'm making another video on Zoonomaly. I'm not fucking doing that. I'm not promising any more videos this year after the Granny incident. And the Digital Circus incident. Anyway, that's a discussion for someone else, I should say. Even though we're pretty much done talking about Zoonomaly as a game, there is still one more section I want to go over. That being the goddamn sound design. The sound design. I've ignored talking about this up until now because I thought it really needed its own section. Not a very long one, but it absolutely needed to be highlighted. The sound design choices in this game are genuinely terrible, in ways that confuse me so much. There are two main things I want to talk about here: the Zookeeper and the animals. Let's start with the Zookeeper. Remember earlier when I mentioned that because the Zookeeper has broken-ass AI pathing, they will always just stand there and watch you do a puzzle? What I didn't mention is that the Zookeeper has a laugh sound effect that plays when they're aggroed on the player. Normally this would be fine, because it would only play during the times when it actually makes sense. However, because they just fucking stand there, the sound plays over and over and over and over and over while you're doing puzzles. It is maybe some of the most annoying shit ever, and it made me turn down the game on multiple occasions. Zoonomaly even has a dedicated volume slider specifically for noises that enemies make. Like, they definitely knew this shit was unbearable. This leads us to the other side of the coin, the animals. Most of them don't make sounds that are that annoying, but some absolutely do. The chimps stand out to me as a prime example. Their sound effect is insanely annoying, and it just plays over and over and over. However, that isn't the main thing I want to talk about in regards to the animals. No, what I want to talk about is when these sound effects play. For some reason, and this is kind of speculation, so bear with me, I think the animal sound effects are tied to the environments themselves and not the actual animals. Like, you'll hear chimp noises that sound really close to you, but all the chimps are on the other side of the fucking exhibit. It just makes knowing where the animals are a pain in the ass sometimes, and made me think I was closer to death way more than I would've if the noises were just tied to the actual models of the animals. Anyway, that's all I want to talk about here. Everything else sounds fine, I guess. Mostly just mediocre though. Now we are actually done talking about Zoonomaly. Well, at least the game itself. Don't think you're all off the hook that easy. We still have to take a look at the wonderful world of Zoonomaly content farm garbage. Someone please help me. The slop. It was fun talking about the actual game, but come on, you know me. If I'm given an opportunity to talk about content farm garbage for a new Mascot horror game, you bet I fucking will. I'm like a moth to a flame, I just can't resist. Well, I guess I'm more like a dog to a tennis ball. Sure, we'll go with that. Anyway, I've picked out some great stuff to talk about for this section of the video. So no more delay, here we go. Lankybox. Hey, we're back to talking about these fuckers again. Like I said earlier, the whole reason this video exists is because of Lankybox, so it was only fitting to give them a tiny bit of spotlight today. Not a whole lot though, they will get their own video eventually. And I know I just said I was done promising videos, but fuck you, I lied. Anyway, because I don't think I can retain my remaining brain cells writing anything meaningful about Lankybox today, please enjoy this 2-minute clip of me losing my mind watching their Zoonomaly content.
That actually looks identical, bro. That
actually looks identical. Can you even spot the Can you even Can you even spot
How
the
are there 17 minutes? There's not even that many characters in this game.
Look how okay, wait, they stop here. They do this for 9 fucking minutes, and then they just play the game again?
Fucking game again.
They just...
and then all the animals got cursed, or was it like an infection?
What does that...
It was just a zoo that got cursed with a hacker EXE.
That started it all. It might have been this EXE sludge monster infected everyone else. That would actually make a lot of sense.
Stop saying EXE.
Like the pudding emoji.
They
no file type.
No, it's like Sonic EXE.
I get that. That doesn't mean anything.
No, I'm gonna throw up. No, they have like a buzz. They must have like a buzzword quota they have to reach.
Oh yeah, that's true, guys. Make sure to watch this play Zoonomaly. That was a really fun video. This is an absolutely nut.
You already did that.
I want to just point it. I want to point at the level of fucking brain rot that just happened there. They brought up Siren Head again for the second time in the video, and then immediately after brought up their first playthrough for the second time in the video within like 2 seconds.
Video. Yeah, in this part of the game, you're like, come here and like get all these parts of the key. Ew, look at that thing. That's crazy. Look
What is happening up here? Wait, hold.
We swapped merch.
He fucking swapped merch. I can't.
I hate
really fun video. This is absolutely
This is
nuts.
ridiculous. He's just like, okay, let me just fucking switch.
And you're like, come here and like get all these parts of the key.
Oh, hey guys. I hate him.
That's so bad.
I hate him.
No one's even gonna look at that and think I want to buy that. No child is gonna see, oh, I want that box that's way too fucking lit up.
You can't even process what this is.
Peekaboo with you guys, and the plushies love to play peekaboo also. Foxy says peekaboo.
The plushies also like to play. I'm gonna fucking. When I do the Lankybox video, I'm gonna buy one of these and fucking burn it. I'm gonna actually burn it. I'm gonna buy a lighter. I'm gonna go to a fucking.
Dustin.exe.
Yo, he's got teeth like. You know what? Hold on. Wait, hold the fucking phone. He's got teeth like. Look in chat. Look in chat. He's got teeth like Justin.exe.
You just have that.
A cursed carrot that had been growing in EXE soil.
Yeah.
EXE dirt.
Stop saying that.
EXE soil, EXE dirt. See, wasn't that fun? You'll be seeing a whole lot more of that in the future. Just let me recover some brain cells first, so I can actually write something coherent about them. Anyway, make sure to plant all your plants in EXE soil and EXE dirt, kids. Enough Lankybox for one video. Next, fake sequel garbage. This epidemic is actually pretty tame compared to how it is for things like Ban Ban and Poppy Playtime. However, there are still some fake sequel videos scattered around YouTube. None of that stuff is super interesting though. As popular as the game is, its fake chapter scene is actually pretty tame. I'm surprised good old Buggy Huggy didn't try to milk this game to death, but they're still busy chipping away at Poppy Playtime. You gotta respect the grind, man. Anyway, since there's really not that much fun stuff to talk about here, I thought I'd make my own fun. It's been over a year since I first created Handi Danz, which is genuinely crazy to me. To celebrate the anniversary a little bit, I thought it would be cool to design my own take on Handi Danz if they were an animal in Zoonomaly. So I did. Enjoy this mess. Alright, so if you're watching this, it made it into the video, which, I mean, there's a good chance it doesn't, but I thought it'd be funny to end this Zoonomaly video kind of like the same way I ended my Ban Ban content farm video. Even though this video is inherently really different from that video, I thought it'd be funny, I don't know. I thought it'd be funny to end this video making a Zoonomaly version of Handi Danz, essentially. Not just the art, too. The goal is to 3D model it. I've been learning a little bit of Blender recently, and I thought it'd be fun to give this an attempt. So, we're at the starting phase here. I have here just a random, like, fucking all jump scares, all monsters thumbnail, but it gives us a good vibe of what we're looking for here with the designs, right? So let's take a gander, right? We have a lot of okay, so number one, exaggerated proportions, right? Long necks, absurdly long legs, long legs, long necks. And then the other thing is big black hole-esque eyes, and then very sharp teeth. Now, there are some that don't have the sharp teeth, right? Like here it's just like kind of like a gross mouth. This one's kind of just like a gross mouth. That's the route we're taking with this because I'm not super confident I can model the teeth, so we're gonna skip on that. But we're definitely gonna do the same kind of eyes that like this one has, and like this one has, and like not this one. This one fucking sucks. Yeah, like these eyes kind of. That's the goal. Yeah, we'll give that a shot. I'm not 100% sure what I'm gonna do with the tail. I think the tail face might have to get the axe, just because that like design quirk is really only like relevant to the Ban content farm stuff. That's the reason the face is on the tail in the first place. It doesn't really make sense for Zoonomaly, so I'll probably scrap it. Obviously the tail itself will still be there, you know, it's a fucking beaver, but I think I will probably try to make it more of like an actual beaver tail pattern instead of just like a face, if that makes sense. But let's try to give this a draw here. So we're gonna make it really long and lanky. I think that's kind of the goal. I was thinking maybe make it really like fat and like kind of short, but I think making it tall and lanky is probably the play. So excuse my shitty drawing skills here on the mouse, but we'll give it a shot, and I'll report back when I have something interesting to say. I like this body shape. It's like really stupid, but I think we can do some fun shit with it. I think like the most of the body just being a neck is also just kind of really funny. It looks like it's being like squeezed, fucking squeezing my Handi Danz for orange juice. So we'll stick with this. I think it's fun. Alright, I think I'm messing with this body shape. It's really stupid, but I think it works for what I'm trying to do. It's pretty simple. I think I could probably model this with a little bit of time and effort there. We'll work off this. We'll get the details down, and I'll report back once that's done, and we'll see how I'm feeling. We'll fucking see. I don't know. Well, it's not perfect, but I think it's probably good enough for what I'm doing. So let's take this sucker to Blender and attempt to model this. We'll attempt. Okay. All right, we have the ref here in Blender. I guess I'll just give it a shot. Sorry if my fucking techniques are terrible. Like I said, I barely know anything, but I thought it'd be fun, so fuck it. This is gonna be terrible, but let's try. Okay, I'll see you on the other side. I'm pretty happy with this body. I think it's a little different from the initial concept, but I think it works. I think it makes a little more sense in 3D than this thing did. A little bit. So yeah, we're just gonna keep working off that, and yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, I pretty much have the sculpt done. It's terribly, horribly fucking. I mean, we can look at it. Oh my god, it's like. It's like horribly optimized, but I'll probably just either not worry about that because this is not for anything. I'm not releasing this. I don't care. I will maybe I'll release it, but I mean I don't know how much you want this. I don't know how much you want this. Yeah, I guess we'll texture this. I texture just in Blender because I don't really want to use fucking Substance Painter right now. So it's gonna look shit, but you know what? We'll give it a shot. So yeah, I don't know. Well, texture time. Let's do this. Okay. Oh my god. That was fun. It's pretty much done. Like I said, I could try to fucking optimize it a bit, but this is not being used for anything. It's just for the video. It's just for fun. I don't think anyone wants this anyway. It doesn't matter. But there you go. There's a Zoonomaly Handi Danz. There's my take on it. If you want to draw fan art or whatever, just hit me up on Twitter or whatevs. But yeah, That was fun. I'm gonna make some renders with this. I'm gonna get some good lighting for it, and those will be on the edited part of the video. So thanks for tuning into this section, and this is pretty much almost the end of the video. So thanks for watching almost all the way through. And yeah, I'll throw it back to good old edited. Yeah. So goodbye, everybody. Wow, wasn't that fun? Here's that render I promised. I think the model came out pretty good besides the optimization that would crash 99% of computers on planet Earth. Anyway, there is one more final thing I want to talk about before we can finally wrap this whole thing up. Something that I teased at the very start of the video. It's time for the grand finale. Bootleg plushies. We've talked about bootleg plushies a couple times here in the past, and I even got my very own bootleg plushie in the form of Handi Danz shortly after my Bam Bam Content Farms video went live. However, I've never actually taken the time to buy one of these things for the sake of actually looking at it for a video. But that changes today. I purchased a bootleg Zoonomaly Smile Cat plush just to show you all what these terrible products are really like. So please enjoy this review of a plush toy made for children.
Hi, I'm interviewing my cat Zella. If you hue shifted Zella or inverted them, they might look like a Zoonomaly cat. Isn't that right? Are you a Zoonomaly? You don't give a shit. Okay. Well, bye, Zella. Here's the other one.
Whoops, that was not it. Let me look around for a second. Aha! Okay, here's the actual Smile Cat bootleg plush review. Enjoy. Alright, what's up everybody? I have no idea how we're transitioning to this, but we're doing this. I'm in my kitchen, so sorry if the audio quality sounds like complete fucking horseshit. Anyway, today we're going to be taking a look at a bootleg Zoonomaly Smile Cat plush. Now, earlier in the video, we talked about the official Smile Cat plush, the not Zoonomaly one, just the normal lights are off one. And you know what? That one's actually pretty cute. I think that one's pretty cute. This thing, on the other hand, is kind of fucking terrifying. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of fucking terrifying. I've had this for like a week. It's just been sitting in my house, and it's disgusting. I haven't opened it yet because I wanted to open it on camera. So I guess we're gonna do that now. Got my scissors. Let's give it a shot here. Oh, okay. Wait, sorry. So. This is it. What the fuck? It's pretty much just all print on. I mean, it's pretty much just all print on. The texturing on this is so gross. Dude, this feels gross. I brought my only other bootleg plush that I have for a little like comparison. This thing is actually like amazing quality compared to this fucking piece of shit. This thing is terrible. God. So yeah, that's this. I don't know much to say about it, but I did buy it. Okay, I guess we can like destroy it now. All right, get out of here, Handi Danz. Fuck you. Not those Handi Danz. Those Handi Danz right there. You see those ones? If you bought one of those, I think they're I don't know when this video is going out, but they're shipping out in June, late June. So it could be soon. It could be soon when this video comes out. And if you didn't get a chance to buy one, stay tuned to the community tab because you might get another chance. Okay, let's break this fucking thing. Any last words, fucker? Oh, oh my god! That broke so easily. That was 0 effort. Oh my god. No! What the fuck? He's so fucked. Oh god. Okay. Okay. Let's just rip his head off, I guess. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, that's that. Thanks for checking out this segment. Back to you, scripted, better microphone. Yeah. What a terrible cursed object. Thankfully, it's fucking dead. Anyway, I'm getting pretty tired of talking about Zoonomaly, so let's wrap this up for good. Both Zoonomaly and Lights Are Off are such interesting cases of internet virality in the modern age. I really don't know if content like this would even have found an audience in the first place without short-form media sites like TikTok. It really is a perfect storm that led to this. Regardless, I had a fun time taking a look at this stuff, and an even more fun time destroying stuffed animals and making terrible 3D models. This video is truly one for the ages, folks. Anyway, tune in next time for not the fucking granny video, I can tell you that. I've been yeah, and I'll see you all next time.